Political analyst and former member of Israel Parliament Yesh Atid Party. Good evening.
Good to be here this week.
Yes, we just yesterday spoke about that. And Dr. Udi Sommer, Associate Professor of Political Science at the Tel Aviv University. Good evening.
Hello, Lucy.
Is it a good sign that somebody didn't fire somebody or did fire somebody a day after such a big debate and such a big controversy happening on national TV?
Well, it probably means that the Trump campaign is going through some sort of an action. Something is happening in there.
Was there a campaign?
Okay, so first of all, as far as money is concerned, okay, that's one measure, right?
Yes.
If you look at the amount of money that the Trump campaign was able to raise, it's about $1.5 million. If you compare that to the $120 million that Jeb Bush collected so far, obviously, that's not much. But I think it's interesting to think about the effects of the Trump campaign so far. So Governor Kasich talked about the oxygen in the room,
yes.
right? And obviously the thinking was that Trump was going to take away the oxygen from the Tea Party candidates, right? From the Koch brothers candidates, people like Ted Cruz or Marco Rubio. But so far, if you look at the post-weekend polls, it seems like he's taking the air out of Jeb Bush, okay, who was supposed to be insulated. So that's interesting.
You know, yesterday we just sat here, and really to put a woman as a target at the beginning of your campaign, well, he tried to put McCain, and actually nobody cared, and just put him up more in the polls. But like going like direct line against women, this is not going to help Hillary Clinton on the way?
Well, here's the thing. Donald Trump, first of all, it wasn't a strategy to say whatever he says.
No,
it's just whatever comes. There are the conspiracy theories out there that say he donated to Hillary in the past and his whole candidacy is to help her, and then he'll run as an independent and help her get in. I will say this, though. Because of him, 24 million people watched the debate, and 24 million people were able to see other candidates for the first time. Yes, Trump is taking up the oxygen in the room, but Marco Rubio was able to express himself for the first time in front of an audience like this, Ted Cruz, etc. And people heard in the opening statement of the debate the moderator say, boy, Carly earlier today really did a great job, and all of a sudden goes on Google and wants to see what Carly Fiorina said, and we're going to see those candidates rising in the polls. I personally believe that this Trump controversy will cause a hit for him, and we'll see what happens next.
You know, I think that this big, like we're saying here in Israel, balagan, this big mess that is happening in the G.O.P. Party, this is actually making the oldest let's say, race more interesting for the Republicans, and maybe even taking the focus from the Democrats that need to put a little bit more effort into their, let's say, campaign, because who cares about what the Democrats have to say? There is a big party happening in the GOP, so let's all go there.
I think so. It's an interesting point. It's interesting to what extent this party is really encompassing, and what type of constituencies actually join the party. Okay, so Dov said rightly that there would be certain candidates that would get more attention now, right? Because 24 million people—that's a big number of people watching the debate. That's on the one hand. On the other hand, if you look at the issues, if you look at the kind of discussions that are developed in the GOP, you see how those become more and more extreme. So if you look at candidates such as Jeb Bush, or if you take the Democratic side, if you look at Hillary Clinton, those candidates have some firm policy discussions that they're trying to develop about the environment, about education policy, and about a host of other topics. Essentially, none of those topics becomes important when you look at the discussion in the GOP debate. The debate becomes around whether whether the leader of the debate was hormonal at the moment or not. So this, so in a sense, this kind of discussion, it's not clear to me whether it serves the GOP in the general elections or whether it takes the discussion in the GOP in a more extreme Tea Party direction.
Yeah, but the question is, what do these 23 million people who are watching this debate are interested in? Because it seems that Hillary Clinton just presenting a new college tuition program that will help people finance their college tuition without loans, student loans. And on the other side, she's talking about climate change, but on the other side, I don't remember anything, any of the, let's say, economic promises, something that the Republicans are promising, except from a really good show.
And the reason why we saw in the NBC poll after the debate that two candidates rose, Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz, is because I think out of all the candidates, they were the only ones who had any clear moment saying anything outside of all the controversy with Trump. Rubio was talking about being for the future and that he could take on Hillary Clinton because he knows what it means to be poor. Ted Cruz mentioned in one very poignant moment about having the courage to say the words fundamentalist radical Islam, and he got a big applause. Little sound bites that people could remember, and they could say, oh, I like what he said aside from the Trump content. Everybody else got lost, and that's why Bush took a hit and Walker took a hit. They're going to get lost. The question's going to be, how long can this circus continue? Because if it continues, they're not going to have the chance to get their messages out, and no one's going to be talking about any issues.
And to this circus, the media is just jumping in. We are just ready to just broadcast any of the, let's say or punchlines that Donald Trump is giving us, and we, in one way, are participating in this.
On the one hand, I mean, on the other hand, if you look at the moderators of Fox News, it was clear that they had prepared really well for the debate, and that they prepared specifically to ask Trump about his policy ideas, right? And despite the fact that they had done that, while in the debate they were unable to push him in a way that would actually generate a clear, a real policy discussion. So in that sense, I think the media is trying hard. But I think so far Trump is, he's a media champ, and he seems to be doing a good job.
Exactly this. How much of a tramp he put to Fox News, because we know that Fox News is more related to the Republican, and how much objective or fair can they actually be towards the candidates?
Well, it was interesting to see certainly Donald Trump go after these Fox News, which is generally so supportive to the Republicans. I sat there and I was almost startled. You don't expect to see that kind of attack in a Republican debate with Fox News. I don't know what's going to happen in the end with the press, but I will tell you this. The candidates that stay on message. When I was running for Knesset, they told me, in every debate, don't get caught up in the fights. Come with your 5 points, say them. Those are the ones who are going to rise to the top, and people will start to see through it. They'll see through the circus, and they'll look for the serious candidates.
Gentlemen, thank you very, very much for this. Of course, we will continue talking about this for a long, long time. Yes, and we are...